Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. I'm going to talk about civil disobedience. And I've made plenty of videos about it, but now I want to talk specifically how it works and I don't know if this is the right word, the parameters of, as long as you fit in this little space, it would be civil disobedience. And what it is, there, by now I am sure all of you realize how many bad laws there are. And normally I go along, when I was younger I used to say I was a law-abiding citizen, I go along with the laws. And that's because the laws were relatively straightforward, and the people that made the laws and the majority of the people that I was around anyway had some type of moral control over their actions. In other words, we knew pretty much what was morally acceptable. Now you got to remember, we were young. Just like I said, when I was in Vietnam, I was young. I did things that I thought was not morally acceptable. And it was hard to justify, to balance that with war. Because war is not morally correct, to say the least. And so, but what I did learn from that was, okay, when it comes to war, morals are not involved. We would like, I want to say we would stretch our morals out, but that's not, morals don't stretch. Morals comes in the right and wrong department. So you just had to kind of close a blind eye to some of the actions done in war. So now back to the civil disobedience. Now we've got so many laws, and it's funny. I think right now it's to the point of hilarious. I mean, the law is a joke. And I'll tell you, let me explain myself. The first thing, the lawmakers are immoral. The lawmakers, they act and they live and they do as if morals has nothing to do with their lives. And these are the same people that make these laws. If you don't know what's right and wrong, your ability to produce laws of value is really limited. Okay, so there are lawmakers, and well, it's funny because okay, our lawmakers, Congress is supposed to be making these laws. Okay, there are a bunch of lawyers that complicate things so they can get around things, and it's funny because a lot of the politicians are playing the same game now. They use the laws as a guideline, and it doesn't really apply if they twist it a little bit. And a good example would be not only the president and his staff and these type of people. I mean, they pick and choose what it is in the way of laws that they want to enforce and which laws they want to ignore. And it's funny because they do this as if they are above us, U.S., we the people. And they forget that they're not. They are the same as we are. But seeing that they are immoral, they have no sense of values, they're completely twisted and gone. And I think it's funny now because they make these laws, and you come across a lot of the police and military. You know how much confusion is going on with the police and military right now. I've never seen it like this before. They are so confused. And why? I think it's because they're the only ones with the morals. They're the only ones that have a sense of right and wrong. And these people, the police and military, they need our support because they're not getting the support from the people that are writing their paycheck. I mean, it even goes down to the local level. I mean, I'm talking about the mayors and what do you call it? Sheriffs, commissioners, all this stuff. Even those people act as if they're immoral. Now it's cool because you watch them when they're running for office. They come out with the words, but kind of like the president, he speaks words, but they have nothing to do with actions. I mean, and that's kind of what goes on at the local level. The local forget that they work for the local people. So now, you as the American people have got to get your act together. Now, I make my videos for the 3%. And the 3% of, I thought it was the Americans, but now as I travel around and I'm more vocal about my feelings, I find out that 3% kind of runs everywhere, at least everywhere I've been throughout the world. And that 3% are people that are self-reliant. These people are, they're strong individuals. And when I say strong, I'm talking about it on the inside. Their hearts are huge. These people are strong. They are moral. They know the difference between right and wrong. And they're givers. They give much of their time, their skills, and anything they can to help others. And they prepare. They take responsibility over their self. They take responsibility over their families. They even take responsibility over their friends, and they're concerned about their local communities. Now, you hear me talk about the three-man militia, and it covers self, family, and friends, and local community. But most don't know how, in their little world, how they can affect their local community. That's why I put the three-man militia together. And the three-man militia, talking about civil disobedience, the three-man militia is definitely falls into that category. The three-man militia is immune or above, I don't know if above, yeah, above might say, above, or it doesn't have nothing to do with the laws. Doesn't have nothing to do with the federal laws. It has nothing to do with state laws. It has nothing to do with local laws. And the reason is militias are run by morals. Morals only. And that's what I'm saying. They are the ultimate in civil disobedience. Militias are non-violent. There is arguments about if civil disobedience is violent or non-violent. There's sayings on both sides. But when you look at it like the three-man militia, or militias in general, is only good for the local area. And they are only good and useful when man-made laws no longer exist. You might have them, but if people don't go by them, that's why the three-man militia is above the law. And it is the ultimate in civil disobedience. And now, for me, if you've watched my videos long enough, you realize I gotta be one of the most peaceful people in the world. Like I say, I take cussings from every language there is, and nothing gets me flustered. I'm real easygoing. I try to help people all the time. There's only one place where I draw the line, and that is if I feel as if someone has got the intent to harm me. And once I realize there's going to be some harm being done, and I look around and everybody's looking at me, then I realize Mr. Nice Guy is no longer there. And what I talk about, civil disobedience, militia being above the law, and militias only run by one law only, and that's morals, the moral correct law. I have a moral obligation. The first moral obligation I have is to take care of myself. So, when people have this wild and crazy idea they're going to hurt me, well, things don't always turn out like people think it's going to turn out. But anyway, what I am saying is, don't be scared to use disobedience. I am disobedient quite a bit, mostly because I don't know the laws, I don't speak the language, I don't know none of this stuff. And they say, well, it's the ignorance of the law. Well, yeah, you're right. The law is ignorant as hell, if that's what you're talking about. But don't try to, like I say, I don't mind, give me a ticket and go on. Just don't touch me. Don't give me the idea that you're going to harm me. So just give me a ticket and move on. But like I say, civil disobedience is not a bad thing. But if you're not prepared, if you're not strong on the inside, and you don't have tactics to protect yourself, I'm not talking about just physical tactics. You've seen all the tactics that I put out on here. There's a lot of different tactics, and few are violent tactics. So there's a lot of things you can do. But like I say, being disobedient is not a bad thing. And don't get yourself pushed to a situation where you think you have to obey everything. Because once you've got to that point, we have way too much that is being pushed on us. And as long as you stay morally correct and you have a plan, you prepare, and you're part of a three-man militia, you will be surprised how strong you will be. Now, I'm going to be on Google Hangouts. I'm going to be doing, the way I understand it, I'm still learning how to do it, I'll be able to do live interviews on Google Hangouts. This way you can get in and ask me a question so I can clarify some of the statements that I make. And I might pop it up just any time. I want to try to set it up at a certain time and a certain day each week. But look for me. And don't be scared. Come in, ask me some questions. Like I say, I'm a little more different than most. I share what I do, and I share what I think I'm going to do. Either way, I'm open for criticism. There's nothing wrong with constructive criticism, or you just plain want to give me hell. It doesn't make any difference. But like I say, I believe we can learn a lot from each other. That's why I came up with the concept of the 3-man militia. Not only we can help each other, but that gives us opportunity to learn things. Because I came from a small community, and we don't have access to a lot of stuff. But I can get 2 other guys, and we can start learning anything. So anyway, don't be shy. And okay, I'm going also, once I get it set up on a permanent schedule, some type of a permanent schedule, I'll have it on my website, my homepage, telling you when I'll be on there. So anyway, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com.